Business is pivotal to the success of the Sustainable Development Goals. Without the private sector and all their investment that they bring, the Sustainable Development Goals will not be achieved. But we must understand that businesses are exactly that. They are businesses and are there to make profit. So businesses need to be able to make business decisions and profit decisions about the activities and the impacts they will have with the SDGs. And it's not a matter of business taking the whole 17 SDGs and trying to impact them all. And in fact, the experience from Australia is that businesses, the largest businesses in Australia, will select a small or a larger range of the SDGs in which to support or underpin their strategies. There is growing community commitment that they expect businesses to act sustainably, to minimise their impact on the planet, to minimise their emissions, to support the social aspects of the community in which the businesses operate, to reduce waste, to not bring excessive waste and single-use items into the community, and that they reinvest in the areas in which they operate and they sell their products and services. So businesses can actually benefit greatly from being seen to not greenwashing and indicating that they're doing great things, but by genuinely investing in their environmental and social sustainability in the communities that they work. But they also have the opportunity to support in other areas. For instance, an Australian company supporting islands in the Pacific. And when your customers are demanding that you be more sustainable, it makes business sense, even in profitability stakes, to be cognizant of what your customers are demanding. Customers are now demanding that they understand the very origins of the products that we're consuming and the end destination of those products after we've finished using them. Needing to understand if child labour or trafficking has been involved in the very early manufacture or the collection of raw products. And that the items aren't going to landfill when we're finished with them and hopefully being recycled or reused or repurposed. And obviously businesses have a hand to play in gathering this information and being honest with the consumers. Good practice within the business community is firstly being able to articulate which goals the company's strategy is actually supporting. And it might be a genuine gender equality, where they're making inroads to make sure that the genders are being paid equally, there are equal opportunities, that despite what activities males and females will undergo during their careers, that they are given the equal opportunities throughout, and the monetary payment is the same for the same work. These are the genuine efforts and activities that companies can make. They can reduce their landfill, they can reduce the amount of consumable single-use waste that they generate. They can be aware of the amount of emissions that they produce. They can reduce the energy consumption, their fuel consumption, rely on renewable energy. They can make sure that they are preventing disasters as well, so that they reduce the amount of impact from climate change as well. Generally being honest with their consumers and being genuine about the actions that they are taking against the intent of the SDGs, and if possible, against the targets, 169 supporting targets. One easy example of how the SDGs can be implemented is actually a shout out to the Royal Australian Navy. The Royal Australian Navy chose to address SDG 12 and to make serious inroads into the amount of waste that was sent to landfill. So there were partnerships between industry, the Royal Australian Navy, and even the waste management contractor for the Navy to physically reduce the amount of waste that went to landfill, acknowledging this was part of SDG 12, and by collecting real data to set the start of the process, And then monthly, the data was collected about how recycling was improving and how the volume of waste to landfill was actually being reduced. And it was this genuine partnership between the federal government and industry and contractors, and also the individuals who lived and worked on the ships and the establishments, that were actually able to make a difference. And although it may not sound like much, but in the less than the first year, there was a 13% reduction in the amount of waste sent to landfill. So a shout out to those individuals who were able to contribute to that. And again, it was innovations from the individuals who came up with the ideas how to reduce waste. It was others who identified problems that others didn't realise even existed. And there was also more discipline about how waste was sorted. But there's a good news story about a government department that took it seriously and linked it to SDG 12.